Every morning, before you've even had your first sip of coffee, before you've checked your phone, before you've spoken a single word, your brain has already begun making one of the most important decisions of your day. A decision so automatic, so invisible, that most people never realize it's happening. It's deciding what to show you, not because reality changes overnight, but because your mind cannot possibly process everything that exists around you. Think about this for a moment. Right now, wherever you're sitting, there are hundreds of details you aren't consciously aware of. The pressure of your feet against the floor, the temperature of the air on your skin, the hum of distant traffic, the feeling of your shirt against your shoulders. Countless colors, sounds, smells, movements. They're all there. But your conscious mind ignores almost all of them. Why? Because your brain filters reality. Scientists estimate that our senses receive millions of bits of information every second, yet only a tiny fraction ever reaches conscious awareness. If your brain didn't filter information, you would be completely overwhelmed. So your mind asks one question over and over. What matters? And here's the incredible part. The answer is largely determined by what you've trained it to notice. This filtering system, often associated with something called the reticular activating system, or RAS, is like a search engine. Give a search term, and it starts finding matching results everywhere. Have you ever decided to buy a particular car, and suddenly you notice that exact model on every street? Those cars weren't magically created overnight. They were always there. Your attention simply changed. The same thing happens with opportunities, with relationships, with happiness, with problems. If every morning you wake up expecting stress, your brain searches for stress. If you expect disappointment, it finds disappointment. If you constantly think about everything that's missing, your mind becomes incredibly efficient at spotting everything you don't have. Eventually, it becomes automatic. Someone compliments you. You barely notice. One person criticizes you. You replay it for hours. 10 things go right. One thing goes wrong. Guess which one occupies your thoughts all day? Your brain isn't trying to make you miserable. It's simply following your training. Whatever you repeatedly focus on becomes your default lens for seeing the world. This explains why two people can experience the exact same day and tell completely different stories about it. One says, "It was exhausting. Everything went wrong." The other says, "It was challenging, but I learned a lot, and something beautiful happened." Same reality, different filter. And here's where gratitude changes everything. Most people think gratitude is just a nice emotion, a polite response, something you express after receiving a gift. But gratitude is much more than that. Gratitude is attention directed with intention. Every time you intentionally look for something good, especially something small, you're teaching your brain a new pattern. You're saying, "This matters, and I like more of this." Researchers have studied gratitude for decades, and the results are remarkably consistent. People who regularly practice gratitude often report higher levels of well-being, better sleep, stronger relationships, lower perceived stress, and greater optimism over time. One famous exercise is almost unbelievably simple. At the end of each day, participants write down 3 things they're genuinely grateful for. That's it. 3 things. Not for months, not for years, just a few weeks. And something fascinating begins to happen. Their lives don't suddenly become easier. Their bank account doesn't magically grow. Traffic doesn't disappear. Their difficult coworkers don't transform overnight. Reality stays remarkably similar, but their experience of reality changes dramatically. Why? Because the brain starts anticipating gratitude. Instead of automatically scanning for threats, disappointments, and problems, it begins scanning for moments worth appreciating. The smile from a stranger, the warmth of sunlight through the window, a conversation that made you laugh, the taste of your morning coffee, a problem that resolved itself, a friend who checked in. Things that were always present finally become visible. This isn't denial, it's balance. Because negativity has a biological advantage. Our ancestors survived because they noticed danger. Missing a beautiful sunset wasn't fatal. Missing a predator was. So the human brain naturally pays more attention to threats. That instinct kept us alive. But in modern life, it often keeps us anxious. Gratitude helps restore balance, not by pretending problems don't exist, but by refusing to let problems become the only thing your mind notices. There's an old story that captures this perfectly. Two travelers arrive at the same village. The first approaches an elderly man sitting near the entrance. "What are the people like here?" he asks. The elder responds with another question. "What were the people like where you came from?" The traveler sighs. "They were selfish, dishonest, cold. I couldn't wait to leave." The elder nods gently. "I'm afraid you'll find the same people here." Later that day, another traveler arrives. He asks the same question. "What are the people like here?" Again, the elder asks, "What were they like where you came from?" The traveler smiles. "They were kind, generous, helpful. Leaving them was difficult." The elder smiles back. "You'll find the same people here." Someone watching nearby becomes confused. How can both answers be true? The elder simply replies, "Because wherever we go, we bring ourselves with us." The world often reflects the questions we're asking. If your inner question is, "What's wrong?" you'll discover endless answers. If your question becomes, "What's beautiful here?" you'll discover those answers too. Neither perspective tells the whole story, but one creates far more peace. Now, there's something important to understand. Gratitude isn't about ignoring suffering. It's not about forcing yourself to smile when you're hurting. Some days are genuinely painful. Loss exists. Illness exists. Failure exists. Gratitude doesn't erase those experiences. Instead, it quietly asks, "Even here, what remains?" Sometimes the answer is tiny. The support of one friend, a warm meal, the strength to keep going another day, the fact that you're still breathing. Sometimes gratitude isn't celebrating what happened. It's recognizing what carried you through it. That is real strength. And this brings us to something you can begin tonight. Not tomorrow, not next Monday. Tonight, before you go to sleep, take out your phone or grab a notebook. Write down 3 things you're grateful for. But here's the rule. They cannot be generic. Don't write, "My family." Instead, write, "The way my son laughed so hard at dinner that everyone else started laughing too." Don't write, "My health." Write, "The energy I had during my walk this morning." Don't write, "My home." Write, "The quiet moment on the couch while the rain tapped against the windows." Details matter. Specificity forces your brain to replay the experience. And replaying positive experiences strengthens the neural pathways connected to them. You're not simply remembering, you're reinforcing. Do this every night for the next 7 days. It will probably feel awkward at first, maybe even repetitive. Keep going anyway, because what begins as an exercise slowly becomes a habit, then a perspective, then eventually a way of living. You'll start catching yourself appreciating things in real time because your brain knows you'll be looking for them later. That's when the practice begins working even before you pick up the notebook. And I'd like to leave you with one sentence that's worth carrying into tomorrow. What I appreciate appreciates. Whether you interpret that spiritually or psychologically doesn't really matter. When you consistently give your attention to something meaningful, its importance grows in your life. Your relationships deepen. Your joy expands. Your awareness sharpens. Not because the world changed, because you did. So here's my invitation. Commit to this for just 7 days. No complicated routines. No expensive courses. No perfect mindset required. Just 3 specific moments of gratitude every night. Then come back to this video and tell me what happened. I genuinely want to read your experience. Because the most remarkable transformations often don't begin with changing the world around us. They begin by changing what we choose to notice within it. And if this message resonated with you, subscribe and join me for the next video. Because once you learn how to train your attention, you begin to discover that the life you've been searching for may have been quietly waiting in front of you all along.